Waycrest Manor is the dungeon that awaits at the end of the Drustvar questing experience. Now for those that don't recall the story of the zone, in a very short nutshell, when they settled here, way back when, they entered into battle with the Drust. Their leader, Goraktul, he was supposedly slain by Aram Waycrest, but that didn't really happen, and by the time that we move into the zone, which is many years later, we discover that they're dealing with a dark uprising of cults and witchcrafts. Lucille Waycrest is placed on trial for being a witch. We prove that she's actually not, and together we get the bottom of the situation. Along the way, we recreate the Order of Embers, an order that researched the Drust magic way back when, and stood against this darkness in the past, and as it turns out, it's actually her mother just the cause of the trouble. Lucille was completely unaware of this, but she is strong enough to stand up against her own family. Together with the members of the Order of Embers, we enter the manor, which truly looks and feels amazing. When they say manor, they don't kid around, and I'd be probably gushing about the design of this dungeon throughout the entire video, so let me just get it out of the way at the start. The dungeon looks absolutely incredible. Now Lady Waycrest, she's kind enough to leave us in the care of her servants, and is very open on where you want to go, what encounter you want to deal with first. We checked out the Banquet Hall first, where Raoul the Gluttonous is hanging out, feasting all day long. I have no idea how or when he got here. Was he perhaps a human in the past, or did they create him? But man oh man, does he look good.
Stay for dinner!
When nobody's in melee range, he will start to consume everything around him, so make sure to at least have one person stay on him. He has a frontal cone attack called Tenderize, which you want to move out of, and he also does Rotten Expulsion, which is rancid food spewed on the floor. Make sure to not stay in the green pools on the floor. Kill the servants that he summons. Slowly but surely, they walk towards the gluttonous pig. Clearly, they've not eaten a thing in months. If they reach him and he consumes them, they'll increase his damage done by 5% each, so do make sure to kill them.
Dead meat. You go on, fine Lady Waycrest, settle the score.
From the Banquet Hall, we move outside, where Rain and Lightning sets the mood, while Matron Brindle, she's using the poor unfortunate souls to construct the soul-bound Goliath.
Free! There is no hope!
The Lightning, it actually becomes your ally in this encounter, as running the boss through the fire that it leaves behind that will reduce his energy, and the energy it gains over time that increases his damage done. Next to that, he will try to crush his enemies while pinning them down with soul thorns. Our tank, unfortunately DC'd during this encounter, but thankfully we're able to kite him around enough to get him down.
Finally free.
Back inside, we go to the gallery this time around, where we run into the Heartbane Triads, the witches that stood together with Lady Waycrest as we walked in. They share a focusing iris between them. Whoever has the iris, that needs to be smacked down, because without the iris, they have a shield that reduces the damage taken. With the iris in their possession, they also gain energy, and if they reach the maximum, they'll cast a dire ritual, which deals a whole bunch of damage. Thankfully, if you smack them around enough, they do share the iris with each other, and sometimes they'll even grab your tank and make him dance like a little puppet, mind controlling him for a bit, so do make sure to stun your tank while you keep on bringing the pain. The rest of the abilities, that was mainly just casting bolts, like Bramble Bolts, Ruinous Bolts, Soul Bolts, all kind of bolts that hurt, but in all, it went down easy enough. Of course, this is on normal difficulty. I'm sure that on Mythic, you'll have to deal with a little bit more.
My roots will sprout again.
The Lady Waycrest is quite impressed with how we've slaughtered her entire household. The carnage is dripping down the floorboards, and we're invited to join her in the basement and marvel at Death's beauty. It was a little bit tricky to actually find the door to the basement, but after wandering the manor for a bit, we finally found the right door near the gallery, and we went down into the cellar to confront Lord and Lady Waycrest. This fight has me really excited for when they actually implement the music, as the lady, she doesn't fight herself at first, she lets her husband do the heavy lifting while she's playing her organ. I really hope that her abilities are going to be accompanied by some killer sound effects. The husband, he spews out rot and he smacks us around, but the missus isn't ready to let her husband just fall to our blade and uses vitality transfer to keep him up and going. This does take her health away, eventually forcing her to abandon the music and join the fight herself. But both Lord and Lady go down, revealing the true source of this evil. Despite Lucille believing that the nightmare is over, Goraktul reveals himself. For countless years, he waited to enact his vengeance, until at last her mother provided him the means. Lady Waycrest was merely a vessel for his power. destroying her opened the doorway for him into our worlds. We cannot allow Goraktul to cross over, so we quickly confront the ancient old leader of the Drust, who comes with a whole bunch of ads. The Death Touch slavers, they're doable on their own, they're doable one by one, but the Drust, he keeps on resurrecting them unless you burn their corpse with the fire provided by Yorick. He himself has Dart and Lightning, that does a fair bit of damage, but all the same, Goraktul goes down and the day is saved. Drustvar can once more pledge his allegiance to Kaltiris and aid the Alliance. Still, there are a couple of questions that are left behind, like why did Goraktul only start to rise now? How long has he been working on Lady Waycrest? How did Lucille never notice this? What exactly was the goal here? Is there actually a source behind the source? And what about this realm that he's trying to escape? What's that all about? Apparently during BlizzCon, they mentioned that Lady Waycrest made this bargain with Goraktul in order to get a better position in the Council of Kaltiris or something like that. But during the questing experience, at this point, I didn't actually see that play out. I didn't see that story told. There has been a minor questline added later down the line, so Drustvar is definitely still in development. And in that questline, we saw that Lady Waycrest was always a little bit darker. Her daughter Lucille was supposed to marry this guy that her mother did not agree with. Her mother arranged his death, and we actually go back in time, and we discover that her mother did this thing, while her father, he was a caring old dad, he was a very friendly guy. So I wonder what exactly is going on here. How's Waycrest get in touch with Goraktul? Why is this happening now, besides, we show up in the zone and we need someone to party with? There's still a lot of story to develop here, and I'm hoping that, since the zone is still in development, I'm hoping that we're going to see a little bit more. There is hope on the horizon, considering that his title, that is Lord of the Blighted Lands, and what's interesting is that there's a Datamite scenario, which takes place in Frost, the Blighted Lands. Apparently, Jaina is going to end up here, dealing with the horrors of the past, the choices she has made in her life, and I assume that we're going to get her out. I wonder what else they have in store for this story, and I can't wait to see it develop. But for now, this is the dungeon Waycrest Manor. Beautifully designed, perhaps even the most beautiful dungeon that I've ever seen. Bar Karazhan, but that was more a raid, and quite fun to play through. The different routes, they seem to be designed with Mythic Plus in mind, and I can't wait to see the music added. But man, oh man, trust me on this one, this dungeon is gorgeous. Right then, thank you very much for watching, everyone. Subscribe if you like my videos, ring that bell if you actually want to be notified, leave a like, all the good stuff. And until next time, guys, see ya!